we could talk like that.
Yeah. We can do that sometime. All right. Welcome back, guys. This is DDP, joined again by Big Game James of Silver and Blue Nation. James, how you doing today?
What up, big dog? Appreciate you. I see you banging your Mavs. It's all Mavs and Cowboys in the house.
Yes, but this is not a Mavs jersey I want to wear. This is the punishment jersey I still have to wear.
Well, punishment or not, it says Dallas.
It does, but it's also a Rajon Rondo jersey.
Yeah, throw that shit away then.
Yeah, I lost a bet. I lost a Mavericks bet, so I have to wear the Rajon Rondo jersey of shame, which I had to go chase down and purchase.
He really played for us. That's crazy.
For like 30 games, and it was like the worst
that should have
blockbuster
never.
ever.
And you knew damn well him and Rick Barnes was not getting along. I mean, not Rick Barnes, Rick Carlisle. I'm talking about Rick Barnes.
Yeah,
Rick Carlisle. Think about Texas, Texas coach Rick Barnes.
Right. But yeah, so for the entire Mavs offseason, including if we end up doing a live remote, I have to wear this now, which I'm not happy about. I'm planning a big blowout for the end of the offseason to.
Are you gonna burn it?
Yes, probably, probably, because this shit makes my skin itch. Like I'm wearing an undershirt and it's still like it feels itchy. It feels gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it looks gross.
Yes.
Now you told me it's gross.
I see Gleh in the chat. Fire
what
jersey.
Up?
He's ribbing me a little bit on that. They know the deal.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so first, so the way I wanted to do this stream is I wanted to chop it up into two parts. So there'll be a break between streams of just a couple minutes while I set up the next stream for the Mavericks, but we're going to go back to back that way. That way people don't have to like jump to a time code or something to see when we switch from talking about Cowboys to Mavericks. Figured that works for everybody. Yeah. And, hey, it gives me 2 uploads instead of 1. So, helps you, algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
But, anywho, so I want to dive in first with some Cowboys talk here. We've been going back and forth, obviously, with the season. You know, we're getting closer and closer to training camp. And with that, of course, you have new storylines and new things. It feels like the talk is heating up a little bit. And, of course, Zeke Elliott has kind of made himself known again in the offseason after being relatively quiet for, I'd say, the previous year and a half, maybe. Mm-hmm. We've talked a little bit about that already, but now we're hearing that Roger Goodell and the NFL are, quote, likely to investigate the incident. What are your thoughts on that? I'm sure that you've already talked a little bit about it on your channel, but I wanted to get your thoughts on that because you and I haven't really had a chance to talk about it.
That's how I just feel so bad. It's like, man, first of all, Goodell, like, why Goodell? Like, what's the point? Like, why do you have you're so geeked and why are you so geeked about this? Like, me personally, I want to get to the bottom of why you have this beef with the Cowboys. Like, I'm not the one that jumps out there and says conspiracy theories or nothing like that. They do exist. I do believe they do exist, and those things go on. But I'm not always trying to lay onto that or anything like that. I don't never try to say, oh, everybody has it out for the Cowboys. I don't just try to use that because I feel like that's just an easy excuse for people to say or why we get hated on. That's an easy excuse, and I'm not going to use that easy excuse. But daggone it, this dude has something for the Cowboys, bro. Like, I'm sitting there thinking, like, you don't, but you really do. You're investigating this, and this all kind of people messing up in the NFL, doing all kind of crazy stuff, and this dude did a little shoulder bump, and now you investigating it, and you got people with shooting up shots. Smoke. We can't. It's just a lot of things that have happened this past year. Yeah. Reuben Foster again. I mean, just all kind of things been going down in the NFL that's way crazier than somebody bumping somebody at 3 a.m. I barely bump, and now you want to investigate it. Like, dude, what do you have against the Cowboys and Jerry Jones? That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's why I'm frustrated, because it is something. There's something there that you have this against them. We all know it's well documented about the 2017 incident. Now, Zeke. If I know DDP, somebody's after me, if I know that somebody has it out for me, then I'm going to be staying on my P's and Q's.
Yeah.
Because if I slip up, I know he's going to be the first one to be like, I got you. So I'm going to stay on my P's and Q's. So that's where it's on Zeke. And because guess what? If Zeke never did that, we aren't talking about this. We're talking about getting ready for his training camp. We're talking about getting ready for our run for 6. We're talking about everything. But guess what we're talking about again, DDP? We're talking about some stupid stuff about Zeke that didn't need to happen.
Yep.
3 a.m. at a weirdo carnival.
Yeah, the music festival he went to in Vegas. Yeah.
3 a.m. Go home. You got a camp. You got camps.
Yep.
Go home.
Dallas time, it was about 4 hours later at the start of that camp that he had that. So
you get what I'm saying? Like, go home. And you're arguing or whatever. You had a disagreement with your girl. You can't do that in public. You got to be self-awareness, because self-awareness would have told you somebody was following you around with a camera phone the whole damn time and filming you.
Yeah.
So self-awareness says, okay, there's a guy filming me on camera. Everywhere I go, I need to go home.
Yep.
And here's the thing. 2 things about Zeke. Get your company you keep together, because obviously the company you keep is not telling you, hey, Zeke, watch this dude. He's over here tripping. You know what? We need to go home. The people he has with them is like, hee, ha, ha, yeah, let's have fun. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's have fun, Zeke. And then when Zeke get in trouble, they're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what happened. That's how they do you, Zeke.
Right.
The ones that you think they love you, that's how they do you, dog. They don't do you like your real dogs. You need to get your real dogs, because if I'm your dog, DDP, and we out kicking it, and I don't play in the NFL, but you do, and I happen to look at somebody's filming camera phone or something like that, hey, dog, or, hey, come on, dog, let's go. You know what? Let's go. Because you got too much to lose, and they're going to try to get you, dog. Let's go. You feel me? Let's just go on, have a good time, chill at the crib. But he don't have people around him that's telling him that. And when you don't have people around you telling you that, and you kind of a wild child, you 23, obviously he wild. Let's keep it real. Zeke kind of wild. Yep. He a class clown. He do, because he always clowning wherever you see him. He like to have fun. He got to have people around him say, hey, dog, we can have fun, but you got to leave right here. He got to have people around him that's saying that. And that's the problem. He's got himself in that situation. And now here we go again. And now if you get suspended or anything like that, yes, I'm going to be mad at that fake old security guard, but you can't be doing that to let that fake security guard say nothing, because the first thing he going to do is go on a TMZ. He going to go on a TMZ and say, oh, yeah, when Zeke turned around, I was just like, hey, you're Ezekiel Elliott. No, you didn't. You didn't say nothing like that, you liar. You're lying about everything you said. You were stuttering. You lied in the whole interview. You a straight-up liar. We all know you're a liar. But guess what, Zeke? If you never would have bumped him and you had just left, we never would have been talking about this fake old security guard. And that's how I feel about it, and I'm mad.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, in that interview you just referenced with TMZ Sports, the guy he's talking about, the security guard, his story is changing even as he's recounting it. Like, earlier in the story, when he talks about what he said to Zeke, he makes it sound like he wasn't addressing him at all, like he really didn't say much of anything. And then later on, he has an exact quote. Early on, he says Zeke looked like he may have been a little bit intoxicated, but then he's talking about moments later, his pupils were dilated and he was kind of stumbling a little bit. Like, okay, so you're getting oddly detailed now, and you're like being way more specific about it than you were, and that goes directly in the face of what you were saying earlier. I agree with you. There's no reason Zeke should get involved in that. And when it comes to Zeke having people out there with him, they need to be someone that has his back. And sometimes you think, oh, well, this guy's my boy, he'll have my back. But the problem is, as it relates to other Zeke stuff we've heard in the past, like going out and drinking, right? Well, oh yeah, this guy's got my back. Well, if he's out there drinking with you as well, he might not be making the best decisions either. You got to have someone who's actually there.
Somebody sober.
Yes, you need someone who is there who's like literally,
I'm here for you.
Yeah, it's basically a designated driver, but in the sense of like keeping
a bodyguard
you in
like
line.
Dez Bryant.
Yeah.
Like Dez Bryant had. Dez was young and wild. And here's the difference between them two. And I'm going to tell you about this. See, here's the situation. Dez went through the same thing, and they went and got somebody to watch, go follow Dez and all that.
Yep.
And you know why? And here's the thing. Dez is hood. Okay? Dez hood. and Des was on a hood surrounding. And I'm not disrespecting that. Okay, like people come from the hood, people come from nice areas. I've lived in the hood and I've lived in nice areas, and that's okay. It's okay to understand where you came from. It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't have the traditional quote unquote mother, father, family.
Right.
Okay. So some of the things you probably doing is just like, I'm just kicking it while I'm used to doing. So it's nothing to him, but everybody's like, yo, you can't be doing that, dog. So there you really got to assign somebody to him. But in Zeke's situation, your mom and pops on their business.
Yeah.
You feel me? Your moms and pops is on their business. And I'm not saying Des parents are bad people. Please don't put no words in my mouth. I'm just saying, you had the mom and the dad in the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And very supportive. You had a lot of support. So I feel like you came up from a good upbringing. You knew right from wrong. Your mom and dad told you don't be doing that. And so when you doing this kind of stuff, it's like, bro, you being immature, because it's kind of like you've been given like not a silver spoon, but you've been given too many privileges, and you just feel like you can do what you want.
Right.
And you cannot do that, especially if you got hit up on a non-charge for 6 freaking games.
Mm-hmm.
A non-charge. That's telling you that people out to get you, dog. So any little tiny thing you do, they're going to get you.
Yeah.
And this is an instance where you did something where we know it ain't nothing, but it's enough for to get you in trouble.
Exactly. And what tells Zeke, what should tell him that he doesn't get to play by the same rules as everybody else, is exactly that. So you talked about how he wasn't even charged in the case. He wasn't arrested. He wasn't charged with the domestic incident, and yet the NFL conducts a 1.5-year long investigation and hits him for 6 games and fights tooth and nail, even going as far as to reject the findings of its own investigation. Basically just Goodell saying like, no, we need to make an example here. Well, what about the example for other guys who have since had domestic incidents, huh?
Right.
They've been giving out 2 games, 4 games. They've given anything that is just substantially less than Zeke for the same, if not worse. In some cases, we have video of some of the things that are happening, and they're still getting slaps on the wrist and no real news cycle talk about it. That alone should tell Zeke, you're not playing by the same rules. You're not allowed to play by the same rules as the other guys. You have to be on top of it. You can't be reckless in this case. And at the very least, this whole incident is bad optics. It's putting yourself out there, and it's putting yourself, it's like exposing yourself in a situation where at the very least, even people like us who are saying largely this shouldn't be a suspendable offense, we're still saying, but because the NFL has already hit him once with a big suspension and wanted to make an example out of him, he can't afford to do something like this. This is stupid. If this was anybody but a Cowboy, anybody but Ezekiel Elliott, this isn't even a story past the
They're
first day.
not talking about this. We all know it,
It's
DDP.
24 hours, not even 24 hours. It's maybe 2 hours on like a throwaway segment of SportsCenter or something before they go into an actual conversation, probably relating to the Cowboys that they'd rather talk about anyway. But because it's the Cowboys and because it's Zeke and they already had that whole 1.5 years of just crap they could dig into where they just had to talk about it all the time, that makes it an instant ratings getter for them and something to actually focus on. So
Bob Kraft with prostitution, dog.
Yeah, Bob Kraft. Owners we know don't play by the same rules as far as the league.
But I'm saying it's just the point where you got all this other crazy stuff, but yet you're still going to do this and go after this person. Like, I just personally think that a lot of owners don't probably like Jerry Jones. Mm-hmm. They don't want to see him win another Super Bowl. They don't care they're happy what he's brought to the NFL, but they don't want. I mean, dude, let's keep it real. We're not around the owners, but it's probably a circle like if you're a circle of friends. Yeah. Like if you have a circle of friends and all the owners around each other, there's some owners that are cool with each other, and there's some owners that I hate you. Yeah. And I'm going to do anything to not let you win. Yeah. And Jerry's got haters.
Yeah.
Jerry's got owners that hate him. And they do not want to see him win another Super Bowl. So they will do everything at their cost not to do it. And you don't think when Zeke does something like this, these owners aren't calling Goodell like, look at Zeke doing this again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's ridiculous the fact that Kraft can go solicit prostitution and
Prostitution and getting hoes.
well, yeah, exactly. And for the details we have gotten of that, I hope to hell never to have to come across that tape or something like that, because
Yeah, you gonna come across it. That tape gonna be shown.
no, not this tape. but, but but yeah, it's pretty pretty out there. Yeah, the whole details of that are pretty, we'll say, messy, and move on.
Gross.
Yeah,
I mean,
gross. Yeah,
gross. That's gross.
yeah. I mean, some people get worn like a hand puppet. It happens, I guess, but it's
Jay
just
Farmer D say you can't believe what he hear from us right now. Hear it, see it, and listen to it. It's real. It correlates to the hate on Zeke. That's what it correlates to. Everybody else gets a slap on the wrist, or I don't do that again. But you're the Dallas Cowboys. You're Jerry Jones. You're anything that we don't want to see you get to a Super Bowl. And we know damn well y'all need some Ezekiel Elliott to get to that Super Bowl. So guess what we're going to do?
right. So yeah, for Jerry Jones, as it relates to him, he already did his power play challenge of Goodell's authority last year. Was that last year or was that 2 years ago? That was 2 years ago. Yeah, 17. He already did his power play to try and flex his muscle and turn enough of the owners against the Goodell extension. And
it didn't work.
Failed miserably. So maybe if nothing else, Jerry sees now he doesn't have that ability to control the league and what they're going to do. So all I'm saying in that regard for Goodell is if there was any reason Goodell needed extra to not like Jerry, that was it. Jerry publicly going after him and basically saying he's going to do everything in his power to prevent you from getting an extension. Well, then you get the extension, and now you're kind of over there looking at him like, hey, what's up? Like, what do you think this is going to go? How do you think this is going to be?
Think about this, though, DDP. Think about this, though, right quick. When you look at the owners and Jerry Jones, when he won them Super Bowls, when Dallas was winning those Super Bowls, do you think Jerry was humble or was he brash?
Oh, he was crazy brash, because he basically came in and it was within his first 5 years.
Exactly. So he was holding his cojones like, I don't give a hell about none of y'all out here. I'm Jerry Jones. I just came out of nowhere and won 3 Super Bowls. Y'all shut the hell up. You don't think other owners was hating on him for life for that?
Oh, sure.
You get what I'm saying? So you look at Bob Kraft. Bob Kraft is totally different from Jerry Jones. He's, hey, I'm so humble. Mm-hmm. Hey, I just love everybody. Hey, I help everybody. Hey, I love everybody. Everybody just loves Bob Kraft. So everybody says, so then the NFL, go ahead and let the New England Patriots. It's okay. It's okay. We like Kraft. He's such a nice guy. Jerry Jones, he too cocky. I don't like him. He just too cocky with it. He think he can do this and do that. So, you know what? We ain't going to allow that. And I just think that this is what's going to be happening now. And I just really analyzed it, that a lot of people in the ownership, I feel like in the NFL, just don't like him. Yeah. And I see power moves and moves that are being made in the NFL, and it's against the Cowboys and it's owners. It's not just Goodell, it's owners. And just like you said, it failed miserably when he went after Goodell. You know what them owners are saying? You had your time, dude. You won your Super Bowls back then. You ain't winning nothing now. So we ain't jumping behind you and respecting you like that no more, because you ain't winning championships. And you don't think them owners don't feel that way and they ain't jumping behind them because you ain't winning nothing. You ain't won nothing in 25 years. So I ain't backing you like that, Jerry Jones.
Yep. No, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Jay Farmady, yeah, I agree. This is Zeke getting into trouble. Our point is that the microscope is more focused on you when you're a Cowboy. And you've seen that with suspensions. We talked earlier about Zeke's instance where he wasn't even arrested for his, and yet he got a 6-game suspension after a 1.5-year investigation by the NFL, and how the NFL, even in some of its own investigators and people associated with its investigation, even when they directly recommended against issuing the suspension, Goodell still did it. And then you pivot to other guys in the time since then, and you're getting 2 games, 3 games, nothing in some cases, where some of these guys who are getting arrested for the same stuff, like actually getting arrested for domestic violence, they're not getting anything.
And nothing's happening. And this, I'm going to tell you right now, dog, Jay Farmer D, I'm let me tell you something. I love and ride and die for my Cowboys, but I ain't no homer, dog. I ain't
Right.
no homer. I'm not a homer where if the it's all Cowboys is no, I'm not. If the
Right.
Cowboys I feel like are not doing right or people are not doing right, I don't defend them.
Right.
But this is not a conspiracy thing. This is real.
Right.
Because I see two, and the only reason why I say it's real because I look at the other players in the league and other things that going on, and nobody wants to jump up and investigate, and it's not in the news quickly and instantly like it is with the Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott. It's not a conspiracy. This stuff is real. They don't like the Cowboys. Owners don't like the Cowboys, and they could give two hells if Cowboys are in the playoffs or not. They want to be in the playoffs. They would love to see the Cowboys out the playoffs every year. I don't care. Randy Gregory was back from his suspension. Everything was all good. He played against the Philadelphia Eagles. We thought he was going to play in the playoffs, and all of a sudden he gets resuspended. You know why? Because he looked really good. And you know what? The Cowboys were 2016. I mean, he looked good as far as you not playing all year, and he had a sack, and you just still.
Sure.
It was an advantage for Dallas. And anything that you cannot give a team an advantage, they can do it. That's real. It's like if I was working or if I'm playing basketball and I don't like your team, if I can take the advantage from you, I'm going to do it. Why we not think this is not real with the NFL and owners?
Right. Yeah, I mean, for me, yeah, that there's obviously some murkiness to that one, to that situation. But to me, I don't view it in, like you said, like a conspiracy kind of way. I don't view it that way. I do think that Jerry Jones is obnoxious and has certainly gotten under the NFL's skin, just like years ago Mark Cuban did the same thing to the NBA. I agree with that, but I don't. I feel like, to Jay Farmantini's point, he's saying only Cowboys do dumb shit. No,
they do.
No, they do dumb shit.
No,
but to say only the Cowboys do dumb shit.
Like, every damn team players are doing stupid stuff. We just get highlighted.
Right. And, I mean, have we gotten even any kind of punishment rendered yet for, like, Tyreek Hill?
No.
Yeah, and we have audio of that relating to the baby mama and his son. Like, that you can have stuff like that, and it's so quiet. Think of that comparatively speaking. Even if the NFL is still looking into it, you're hearing.
You don't hear a fire, right? You don't hear a firestorm over it. You don't see people jumping on TMZ like, "Oh, let's talk about the Zeke incident." Like, seriously, dude, this was nothing. Yes, we saw it. He bumped him, but the dude over-exaggerated, and we know it. Now you're talking about the NFL is investigating. What the F are you investigating? Like, I'm not trying to cuss right now, but what the F are you investigating? There's nothing to freaking investigate, okay?
No charges pressed, no injuries assessed, no nothing.
Fake, NFL, you looked at the tape and saw it yourself and knew it was fake, and you could tell it was fake. So you're going to investigate what? There's nothing to freaking investigate. So so I don't want to hear there's nothing. No, people don't. Yeah, it is. Because why the hell are you investigating? There's nothing to freaking investigate.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we're not defending Zeke in this case. We've said it multiple times in this stream alone. He did something stupid. He has to be smarter than that. He brought the attention on himself, even if the attention is more focused and negative and looks like it's really digging, trying to find any excuse it can. Even with all of that being the case, it was stupid of him to do. That just doesn't mean that it justifies the NFL investigate. Like, if they're going to launch another Zeke investigation and we got to go into freaking training camp wondering if they're going to suspend him, I mean, it's so stupid at this point, the degree to which we follow through on all of that. Because, like, who else would have this thing? I know that there are guys, the Cowboys have dealt with suspensions all the time. You want to talk about suspensions along that defensive front every freaking year, where we start the season. Yes, always the defensive line. Almost always the defensive line. You had the Orlando Scandrick year, but yeah, where you start
on ecstasy, pop pills.
Right, where you start the season with a starting defensive player suspended. That is a real issue, but that's just substance issues. That's not off the field issues in the sense of like a domestic incident or punching a DJ at a nightclub or yanking down a girl's top. Like, there's all kinds of stupid shit Zeke has done that has frustrated the hell out of us.
Right, and it's like, why are you doing that, bro?
Right. And so here's the scope I view it under, right? So the NFL didn't investigate separately because it was in the middle of the bigger issue for Zeke. It didn't investigate the St. Patrick's Day thing. It didn't even investigate the report of Zeke breaking the DJ's nose at the club in Dallas. So this is the one that they investigate, like that they want to investigate. Dude, this is the most milquetoast thing on the list.
Milky.
Yeah.
Silky milky.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to me, but not to go.
Oh, we're gonna investigate.
Yeah.
Freak are you? I said freak because I'm listening to my kids. See, my kids, they'll say, "What the freak?" And I'm like, "Hey, you're cussing," and they're like, "No, I'm not." And I'm like, "Yeah, you are."
Yeah.
you said what the freak. I know what you meant to say.
The substitution word, right? But yeah, so it's one of those frustrating things. They're just gonna have to figure it out. But I want to pivot actually to the conversation regarding now the fallout from this for Zeke, whether there's suspension or not. Setting that aside, the Cowboys have indicated they have no intentions of this impacting their contract negotiations with Zeke. We know Zeke has 2 more years on his rookie deal, and they could franchise him after that. You have up to 3 more years of control for Zeke. So why, oh why, are we looking to give him $16 million a year, probably, because they're talking like it's going to be north of Todd Gurley money. $16 million a year just to go. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I get that he's super young. He's 23. Even if you gave him a 5-year deal, he'd be 28 by the time he's off that contract. But you also have to consider his usage. Like, he was our 2nd leading receiver last year as well. Like, not just the carries he gets. It's crazy to me to give him money now. I know why he wants it now, because he sees the writing on the wall and he sees what we've done before. But at the very least, to me, you should wait a year. And if I'm Dallas, I would use this whole thing as a further reinforcement for why I'm justifying taking another year. I would just say,
Jones is
good. That's what you should do. You should look at this and be like, look, I know that this feels like it's a harsher than necessary lens that we're going to put you under, but the NFL is doing it. And hey, man, one of the biggest things is availability. And if you've already had the 6-game suspension, if the NFL is going to pop you with something again, then we know that's going to be like a strike 2 against you. We have to consider at that point whether it makes sense to give you that kind of money, let alone paying you that early and how much that strains your cap for other signings, other re-signings you might need to do in that window. You got Jalen Smith, who they've entered contract negotiations with as well. He'll be coming up. You're going to have eventually to have to deal with Van Der Esch. Like, there are all these guys that you need to deal with. So why pay Zeke 2, if not 3 years early? 2, because the franchise tag, yeah, it's a 1-year thing, but you're going to be paying him basically that money anyway by that point. In terms of the average, you'll be paying him right around that $16 million. But at least for 2 years, you don't have to break absolute bank for him, and it gives you a time to set up an insurance policy behind him if you want, whether that be like a potential replacement if for some reason things don't go that way, or if you do keep him, then hey, you just have more depth to your running game. It gives you time to do things like that. So to me, it doesn't make sense to do it now, and I would absolutely look at this and say, it makes more sense to me to move negotiations off for at least 1 more year in light of this new thing, even if it is the NFL being a little bit ridiculous. To me, it's my excuse for doing what I wanted to do anyway.
Well, after everything you just said, because you said a soliloquy. Is that a word?
Soliloquy is a word, yes.
Yeah. Because you know what? My thought is the same thing. Everything you just said. Basically, he just helped Dallas ownership. He helped Dallas ownership. You helped Dallas ownership not having to sign you right now, because maybe Dallas was thinking about negotiating with you. Maybe Cowboys was thinking, because we got the dog. He's 23. He's a dog. But you might be in trouble again. You know what? I'm going to wait. You made it easy for me to wait because I can use this over top of your head now. You don't think they're going to put that in the contract? They can use that over his head. This is real life, y'all. You don't think ownership. If I'm an owner, I'm sorry, okay? if you got suspended in 6 games, and I know it was wrong, and I fought tooth and nail, and I know it was wrong, but now something else comes up, and I'm the owner. I'm talking as the owner, and now something else like this comes up. Guess what? I love you, Zeke. You my dog. But guess what? I have to put something in my contract now. It says you get in trouble, this voids everything I'm gonna pay you. That's what it said. And it ain't because I don't love you, but I don't trust you no more.
Yep.
I love my son to death. I love my son, but I don't be trusting him. And he go get stuff put in his contract. You hear me, DDP? So if my son is doing something for me and I love you, son, I'll never abandon you, nothing like that. But guess what? I still don't trust you, though. So I'm going to have to insert this in the contract, son, just in case. And keep me on your toes. And that's what Stephen Jones and them are going to do. They're going to say, hey, you know what? We're still going to throw in this media. We're negotiating with you. We're still going to throw out there to the Dallas News. We're negotiating with you. But behind closed doors, we ain't saying nothing to you this year. We're going to be quiet. We're going to exercise the option, and we're going to see how this plays out. And if you get in trouble again, it's going to make it easier for us to make this contract the way we want because we control everything and not you.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. So... yeah, they're going to have to do something on that regarding Zeke. To me, it makes sense to move it back or have at least those provisions in there, as you said. Another thing that people are talking about, and I want to be real quick on this.
They're going hard on Dak, ain't they?
Yeah.
I'm pro Dak. Hey, Jay, Farm D, I'm pro Dak. I'm with you. Anybody talking there, let me see one more year of Dak. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I mean, it's Dak is as divisive a figure as it gets, and I think a lot of it is unjust at this point. I mean, yes, there are issues. There are issues, but the main narrative issues that people point to with him
is whack.
It's not even real. A lot of the times, the argument doesn't even hold up when you compare his stats to other players.
You can't compare the argument. Period. Fact.
Whether it's yards per attempt, whether it's his accuracy.
DDP. If you took away Dak Prescott's name of away from his stats in his first 3 years, if you took his name away and said, "Cowboys, do you want a quarterback with these stats?" They'd be like, "Hell yeah!"
Right.
Then you want to put Dak Prescott behind it, and you're like, "Oh no, I don't want him though." Man, shut up.
Right.
You better leave my quarterback alone. I ain't trying to say my quarterback because Romo was my quarterback too. But you know what? Romo used to make me mad too when he be throwing them interceptions in the last minute of the games. Yes, you was throwing for 350 yards of 3 touchdowns, but you threw that bad interception, and I'm mad as hell at you. You get what I'm saying? And don't act like we weren't all yelling at Romo when he was doing them buffooneries. Buffooneries. And Romo never took us nowhere. And I love Romo, but stop trying to use the Romo excuse for your hate on Dak. Yeah. That's all you're doing. You're using a Romo excuse for your just straight hate, and you're trying to go back to Romo. Romo didn't win nothing for us, and I love Romo, but he didn't win nothing. And in 3 years, you take all the other quarterbacks that we had, you think about this, I would love to have a quarterback right now that's doing what he's doing in these 3 years. We could go back to having just like people were naming Stephen McGee, Chad Hutchinson, Ryan Leaf, Benny Testaverde.
Look at the guys that were starting in 2015 when Romo went down.
Matt Castle, Brandon Whedon. You get what I'm saying?
Ellen Moore.
People forget. People forget when we were 4-12 and everybody was crying about. We wish we had a quarterback because we still had a good team. And if we would have had a quarterback in that 2015 season, even if Romo went down, you would have loved to have a Dak Prescott in 2015 because he could have probably took us to the playoffs in that year. So stop your hate on him. You have no justified hate. I don't care if you don't like what I'm saying. You don't have justified hate for him. He's played good. Has he messed up? Yes. Does he need to get better? Yes. He acknowledges that. But that's why they continue to put people in his life, his professional life, to get him better. They get him a better offensive coordinator. They get him a good quarterback coach. They're getting things to make him better, y'all. And why don't y'all see that? And he hasn't played bad. He's won every single year. We have a Super Bowl type team. Get behind your quarterback and your team right now because that's what they need is the support, not the hate, because that support can drive us to a Super Bowl, y'all. So stop the hate.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous, I think. I mean, at this point, I feel like he's more than proven himself, and I understand people, you're always going to be a little bit anxious to see if he can actually take that next step. But I get it. People get nervous when they hear about the potential. The number that's been floating around out there has been $30 million a year. If you look at if you look at his numbers and you weigh it against the other guys, look at the guys who are making in that tier of money. You have guys, Matt Stafford's on that list.
Ain't won nothing.
Never. In fact, his record against winning record quarterbacks, it's been
terrible.
It's horrible overall. I think it's actually ticked up a little better in the last year or so, but it's still awful overall. So you look at things like that, and it's like, okay, it all comes down to the quarterback market is inflating at a crazy rate every year. So unless you're like, all right, F it, take this team that is otherwise, we believe, Super Bowl potential roster, unless you're like, all right, other than quarterback, let's take the quarterback out and we'll go back to the draft carousel or signing random veterans at middle of the road veterans and try and plug them in with
it. Good quarterback, right? DDP.
Yeah. Do what?
Trent Dilfer was a good quarterback, right?
Yeah, for sure. So was Brad Johnson.
Right, exactly.
But hey, they both have Super Bowls. So
exactly. There's been other people that have won Super Bowls, and I think Dak is better than him. And I'm not pushing Dak like he's a top 5 quarterback. No, I've never said that. Like, he's not a top 10 to my eyes. What they're rating him right now, I say he's about 13th. They gave him a rating around 13th. I would say that about there, but I think he's ascending and can get in that top 10 with continued good coaching. I think he can because he has the tools. He doesn't throw a terrible ball. He doesn't throw an ugly ball. Sometimes does it look bad? Yes. But when I was seeing those OTAs and I was seeing those highlights, I was seeing him strong and confident, man. Mm-hmm. And you know what? People have said about Dak Prescott, his first 3 years, people were saying he's not the greatest practice player, but he's one of those gamers. Yep. When I went to training camp last year, that's the first thing I wanted to see was, were they right about what they were saying? So I looked with him in my own eyes, and I was like, damn, they are right. He wasn't the greatest practice player. You would see some of the passes he would throw, and they would be wobbly when we were at training camp. They would be wobbly. You'd be like, man, what the hell? Why'd you just make that decision? You know what I'm saying? Like, you were saying that to yourself. But then you see the next 2 plays, you'd be like, damn, oh, yeah, Dak. It's like, minute you be mad at him, the next minute you throw like a 50-yard bomb for a touchdown or a scramble out the pocket and make some amazing play, and you're like, okay, that's why I like this dude. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like, you have to really be up close and see him, and he has just a really good personality, and I'm just not trying to sit there and say pro Dak, because if you really listen to Super and Blue Nation, I had a crazy rant on Dak Prescott. I went hard on Dak Prescott. Mm-hmm. I don't give him no edges, but one thing I do know, I think he's a really good quarterback, and I think he's going to get better. I think the people they put behind him with Kellen Moore and John Kitna is going to do wonders for him. I really do. And I think this is his 4th year in this team. I think that 4th year, this is my team. The people are investing in me. I watched it. I feel like he's confident. Randall Cobb wouldn't have come to the Cowboys if he didn't feel like this guy would make me better and get me to another deal. Yep. You're not going to be a receiver in the game, 28 years old, on a 1-year deal, and come to a quarterback that you don't think can throw the ball, folks.
Yeah.
He's played with Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Are you serious?
No, I agree.
This dude played with Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
So he knows about beastie quarterbacks.
Right.
He could have went to other players, other teams. He said, I want Dak. I like him. I'm staying here.
Right. And even if he's not the Randall Cobb of 2014, he's still
nasty.
Yes, and as a slot receiver, still a very good pickup for the Cowboys. Probably their thriftiest pickup that they've had this offseason, really. And I view it in the scope of, he can help turn that around for Dak a little bit. He can kind of give that security blanket. Obviously, Witten coming back will also provide that as well for Dak, because we know Witten's not going to go long. But it's one of those things. He's got the underneath taken care of. As Gallup continues to progress, and obviously his chemistry with Cooper continues to develop, now you give him an actual quarterback coach, or an actual offensive coordinator was his quarterback coach, and Kellen Moore, with a more modern, not near as antiquated mindset, will actually disguise a little bit of what the Cowboys are doing. How many times did we sit there last year watching the game, calling out, they're going to run this play, this is exactly what they're going to do? Like, it was so predictable, it's ridiculous. And that's a double-edged sword, because in 2016, when it was a predictable look, they were still such a beastly offensive line that they just knock you on your ass, even if you knew what was coming. Well, once your offensive line's not playing at that level anymore, giving up 56 sacks last year, and I know Dak had his own contribution towards that number as well for holding on to the ball too long in some cases, but you look at it still, and it's like once your offensive line's no longer just wrecking shop, now that simplistic look is now, it's not the benefit of like, oh, it's simple, so there's less chance for confusion. Now it's everything falling on you at once, where it's like, okay, now it's so simplistic, we can't fool nobody, and we can't win those battles up front. So we're getting our teeth kicked in, and Dak is sitting here eating sack after sack, getting just murdered in some cases, and he still hasn't missed any games or anything like that. Like, his durability is there. The numbers are there. They have not run him in his first 3 years in the league to an offense that suits him, to a style that suits him. I think that they will finally do that now, because you're hearing that they're giving Kellen Moore full control of the offense. It's not Jason Garrett offense just with a new face on it, like was the case with Scott Linehan, basically running the previous Jason Garrett offense. It's an actual philosophical change in that regard. And I think you're going to see a lot more motion, a lot more trickery as well, pre-snap motion as well. I think you're going to see different looks, and that's going to allow the team to get more out of Dak, and by extension, Zeke and some of these other guys too. So that's what I'm saying. Everything Dak has done in a not ideal situation, what do you think he's going to do now if you give him an ideal situation? Like, in terms of play calling in the offense.
I mean, he's going to ball out. Like I said, I think he's going to have a really nice year. I think our team's going to be good. I think, honestly, I don't want to jinx this. That's why I'm shutting up. I just being quiet. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to keep it to myself. But yes, I think we do have a Super Bowl type team. I haven't said that. I don't say that every year. I look at our team expeditiously. Mm-hmm. Is that the word? And I sit there and say, no, we need this. We still need that. No, this team can beat us. No, we're not ready. We can't overthrow them. But I just feel like right now we have the offense, we have the defense, and as long as we stay healthy, I don't see why teams are beating us. We're just as good as everybody else, if not better, talent offense and defensively. So I see the schedule. I told I was on my YouTube page and I said we have to get out. I do the schedule in fives. First five, second five, third five with the 1, so 6. But the first 5 are critical because you got NFC games.
Yep.
4 NFC games in the first 5 games.
Yep.
2 division games with the Giants and Redskins, and then you have the Saints and Packers, which are huge games. Mm-hmm. And then you have the Miami Dolphins squeezed in between. So Dallas has to get off to a good start. So you're going to have to see what this offense looks like from Kellen Moore instantly, because it's going to have to show. Because the Giants, they're going to always give Dallas a tough game. The Redskins are going to be a tough game because that defense is going to be good. I don't care what anybody say. I hate the Redskins, but they are going to have a good defense. We don't know what's going to happen with Haskins. He can come in because he's hyped up against the Cowboys. You know how it is, DDP. People tend to play their all-world games against the Cowboys because it's the Cowboys, and I want to show up against the Cowboys. So we don't know. So that's going to be a tough game in itself. Then you got the Saints and Packers. Packers are going to be amped up. We haven't beat them. We have to beat them. Yep. And the Saints are trying to get revenge. Oh, yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yep. They hate us. Saints hate us all the way around. And we're definitely on their minds no matter what they say. So it's critical that this offense comes out. But we have the talent, DDP, across the board to beat anybody in the league, bar none. If we go in there and play our game, if we play like we got explosiveness. You got Tony Pollard. I'm not trying to hype this kid. I don't want to hype him too much and then him fall flat on his face. But daggone it, that motherfucker, if you get that motherfucker the ball, man, and you get these little rookies that we got, and you get the Joe Jackson, and Michael Jackson, and this Tristan Hill. I mean, wow. I mean. And this we have a really good team. Yeah. Yep. I mean, we have a really good team top to bottom across the board.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm still wishing that we had gotten is a ball hawk for the secondary at safety. That's the only thing. But we'll be all
right. We'll be all right.
Yeah,
they're saying that Donovan Wilson kid is showing up, man.
Good. That's good. They need it. They need someone to step up and emerge because we need to get more interceptions. That is the weakness in our secondary. We can cover great.
Woods is going to lead the team in INTs. Woods is getting 5 INTs, DDP.
Woods getting 5 this year? Okay.
Yeah, you heard it from me. So
All right.
when you come back, and when we talk about the Mavs, can you give me my Do you ever listen to Charlamagne the God? 107 with 107.
Yeah, I've heard
Okay,
some
well
of the stuff,
anyway,
yeah.
he says drop one of them clues bombs when he says something right. You're gonna drop one of them clues bombs for me because I told you in the very beginning before the season even started that Dennis Smith Jr. wasn't gonna be able to play with Luka Doncic and
Yep.
he was gonna get traded. And guess what? I was right.
Yep, you were. You called that out, and I wasn't even on that boat. So
No, you weren't.
Nope.
Nobody was. Don't say no, you. It wasn't just you. It was nobody.
Right.
Nobody said it except me. Period. Point blank.
There
facts.
were people who said they didn't think they'd be able to gel, but nobody other than you that I heard said that they would have to move on from Smith in that same year.
in the same season.
I thought at the very least it was going to go into the off season, and that was even if it was a train wreck. Which
woo.
Yeah. So yeah, that's total credit to you for sure.
I'm just saying, I love you, dog.
All good. But now, as we wrap up this Cowboy stream, we're going to take a little break. I'm going to have a break between streams. I'm going to run and eat dinner real quick because apparently that's almost ready. And then when I'm done with that, I'll come back in here. If you're available, James, we'll pick you back up and we'll do some Mavs talk. I already got all the stuff set up for it.
All right. Well, we got to go hard because, them playoffs, them finals is on, so we're going to be in and out. But you know what? We're going to talk to Mavs good because I'm ready.
Yep. Sounds good, man. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you want to check out some Mavs talk, we'll be back on here in probably a little over an hour. I know that's going to put us in contention with the finals in that regard. Make us a game companion. Just have us on in the background. Just listen to us. We're just talking Mavericks. And, hey, fun fact. Give just a little fun fact here. Today is the 8-year anniversary of the 2011 Game 2 15-point comeback by the Mavericks in Miami. One of the greatest finals games comebacks of all time. Dirk scores the final 9 points. Mavericks outscored the Heat 22-5 in the final 6 minutes, 20 seconds to win.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But all right, back in a bit, guys. Hang tight. And James, I'll let you hit the tagline, prospect tagline. You know that one?
Probably. Yes. See, why you do that to me? That
every legend wants a prospect.
See, I was ready to do it, but then you cut me off.
Go for it. We need the sound.
No,
drop.
you just said it. You just said it.
No, it's fine. Just go with it.
Every legend, before he was a legend, I'm gonna add to it.
All right.
He was a prospect.
There you go. I'll give you credit on adding on to it because you were intentionally adding on to it. And he just botches it sometimes.
Yeah, I did. They're gonna be like, man, you sounding corny as hell.
Yep. He's like, every legend started at. Wait, no, shit.
like you corny as hell. Get the hell off the mic.
Yep. But all right, catch you guys in a bit. Peace.
Yeah.